Okay, guys, so we basically have our page again for project one, the barn ornaments, and we have our guides all dragged out onto the page, and we need to lock those guides so that we're not accidentally clicking on the guides or deleting the guides as we work on the page. And the way that we're going to lock these guides is we're just going to go view, and then we're going to scroll down to guides, and just make sure that where it says lock guides that you click on that one time. Now if it says unlock guides, it means your guides are already locked and you don't have to do it. But I'm going view guides lock, and then I'm just going to click on it. And now when I kind of scroll over those guides, it's almost like they're locked on their own layer. I can't actually affect where the guides are. And I just want to talk a little bit in this video about just making basic shapes in Illustrator, just very basic shapes. And on the left hand, the main menu on the left hand side, you'll notice that there's mine just happened to be on star, but usually it's on the rectangle. And if you just hold down on it, there's a rectangle, an ellipse, a polygon, and a star tool. And so I'm going to go up to the rectangle, and I'm going to come back onto my piece of paper here. And if I just drag, right, it allows me to make a rectangle on the page. And if I click off of it, right, there's my rectangle. And if I swipe back over it, it's selected again. And you'll notice that right now, the rectangle has a black, right, stroke around it with no fill, right? Okay. And there are these four little nodes inside the rectangle. And if I just click on one of those nodes and begin dragging, it allows me to make the rectangle have rounded corners, okay? And if I click back on that rectangle tool, if I hold down my shift key, it constrains the rectangle to be a square, right? So I'm holding the shift key and it's constraining it to be a square. And again, you know, anytime you see these little handles or the corner handles, if you pull in, it will allow you to actually turn that shape into a circle if you pull it all the way to the center, right? Okay, so again, I'm going to just kind of hold down on my rectangle tool, and there's an ellipse tool, and it just allows me to create an ellipse, right? It's like rounded circles. And if I hold down the shift key, it's letting me make a perfect circle. And there's this little handle here. It kind of creates pie shaped shapes for like making pie charts. And if I just kind of drag on that, you'll notice that it opens that shape up and it kind of creates this pie shape. And again, I'm going to hold down on the ellipse, and there's a polygon tool that allows me to make kind of like honeycomb shapes, right? And I'm just dragging, and you can rotate it, you know, while you're dragging it out. You know, and again, there's that little corner handle, and I can soften the corners and make it more rounded. And then the last thing that's kind of on there that's a quick shape tool is that star. And again, if I hold the shift key down, it kind of constrains the star to be up and down. So then the next thing I kind of want to look at is this blend tool. It kind of would allow you to create shapes between shapes pretty easily. And I'm just basically going to get rid of a couple of these shapes here really quick. I'm just swiping over them and deleting. And so I've got a star, and then I have this honeycomb shape, right, that has kind of rounded corners. And if I swipe over those two shapes, okay, I'm going to go Object, Blend, and I'm going to go to the options first because I just want to see what the options are. Object, Blend, Options. And I want to do it, you can do it with color, and that will blend between two different colors. For the demo here, the simple demo, I'm just going to do specific steps. And, you know, we'll keep it at 12 or we'll set it at 12. And I'm just going to say OK. And you'll notice that nothing happened because we've just set up the option. And with both things highlighted, both things are selected, I'm going to go Object, Blend, and then Make. And when I say Make, it literally creates 12 objects. One is the star, one is the rounded honeycomb, and places objects in between those, right, that kind of blend the two objects together. And then I can't really click on anything. It's not they're not really objects yet. You'll notice that it's showing me it's the star and the honeycomb with a line, which kind of means that it's a blended item. But in order for me to access any of the shapes in between, I have to go, again, object, blend, and then I have to expand. If I hit release, it will take me back to just my star and my honeycomb, right? It takes me back to where I was. If I hit expand, now all of the objects are present. I have to do one more thing, object ungroup, right? And I'm just going to click off of it for a second, and I now can click on just one of the objects, right? So you can see that I'm kind of able to pull objects out to see how they got blended into different shapes. And the shapes are not necessarily these beautiful shapes, but it starts to feel like an interesting kind of organic shape a little bit. But it's kind of an interesting way to blend two shapes together, right? Two really simple shapes together. And I'm just going to swipe over that, and I'm going to delete that. So next, we're going to look at creating more complex shapes using the Pathfinder tool.